This week we're going to embellish the front of this IKEA cabinet. Hi, I'm Myra with Boutique Paint. Thank you for joining me. So I went ahead and painted this Bohemian Blue DIY paint, and I also painted the outer shell of it, the entire thing. And next what we're going to want to do is use a paint inlay, and this is Lattice Rose, and I pulled one of each of these sheets out of this set. Next, what we want to do is figure out what pieces we want where. So I'm going to once again fold it and cut it. Okay, we've got all the pieces cut out now to go on the drawers. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the piece again with the Bohemian Blue. I'm just going to take the silicone blade and smooth things out. I'm going to take a wet paper towel and you blot it until the entire top of the paint inlay is wet. All right, that looks pretty good. So we'll move on to the next one. And this one we're going to do at the same time. So we're just going to squeeze those together and go ahead and paint. I had to move into my dining room to do this project this week because it was, this is a big enough piece. It would have been hard to do in my workspace with my countertop. I just don't have enough room in there. So we're in my dining room where most of us actually do probably our crafts if you don't have a craft room. All right, looks good. I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. Now this one we got to be careful. We're going to move it as one to the back and just continue on. So while we're waiting for the drawers to dry, I'm going to go ahead and do the top of this, and I am going to use this right here, and it's a little short, just a smidge short. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use it in the middle, and I'll show you how you can get around not losing or making it feel like these lines are a dead stop. And this is a little bit bigger of a surface, so if this starts to dry too much, I will probably spray it a little bit with water. If you decide to spray this part of it instead of just using a wet paper towel and going over the top, you still need to take a paper towel and just kind of go over the whole thing and mop up the extra water. You don't want it so wet. You just need it to be damp. So while we're waiting for all of this to dry, I'm going to do two things. And I'm going to use the new Juniper cottage color paint. And I'm going to go ahead and mix it with a little bit of the paint frosting to thicken it up. And I don't need a lot of this, but it does need a little bit of time to thicken up. And normally I would do this in a jar so I could put a lid on it. I will probably just put a plastic bag over the top of this since I need everything to dry before I can use this on one of the steps. So I'm just going to put in a little teeny tiny bit. That's about all. It doesn't take much. And I'm just going to stir it in there. And this, over time, will just thicken that up. Look at that. It's already thickening up. It's thickening up quickly in this particular paint. Nice. So I probably wouldn't even need to wait. But I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to paint up some of these Conservatory label mold pieces that I already made. Might as well use some of the paint off the lid there. And I'm going to use these on the front. So I just basically wanted a complementary color to, I've got the Bohemian blue, but then the there's pinks and greens and reds, different colors of pinks in the inlay. So I thought the green would look pretty nice. It would pop between the blue and the pinks. Now, if you don't want to do the molds, the other thing you could do is you could use the stamp, the Apothecary label stamp, and do one of the stamps that look similar to this, and then put whatever words, or you don't even have to put words. I will probably wait to put whatever label on the inside of this, whatever lettering, because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use this for quite yet. And so, you know, if I put ribbon in it, then I want probably put on there like blue ribbon or findings or whatever you're going to use it for. Our paint inlays are completely dry, so I'm going to go ahead and give them a quick spray, which activates the paint and then helps to release the paper from the drawer. And there's drawer number 1. I already sprayed down these other drawers. I'll just give them a quick spray to make sure I've got it everywhere. Oh, look how pretty that one is. So nice. So this is the top of the cabinet, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick spray down again because it already dried a bit, even though I sprayed it once. Very nice. So you can see on the edge here that the piece didn't go all the way over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the paintbrush that with the same blue, and you could use a sea sponge also, just to kind of soften, and use different parts of the brush. Don't just use the edge, just kind of go along. And we're just kind of feathering that edge a little bit. Same with this back edge. And then you can take a paper towel and just go along and just kind of lift it a little bit. And that way it looks like it was intentional. So this is the juniper that we mixed in the paint frosting in with. And now I'm going to take our new stencil, which is Heirloom Scroll. And this is on one end of the cabinet. I'm going to take the IOD paint blade. Oh, that's beautiful. So on the top, I'm going to do the same thing as I did on the side, but I'm going to do it over the top of the paint inlay. And I'm using our new Damask butterfly stencil. And if I can get this not to glob on before I get the paint blade up there. Paint blades are wonderful for using with stencils. It just helps the paint to go on nice and smooth. And these stencils are 10 mil, so they're thick, but not so thick that if you just want to use regular paint, that the paint won't go through easily and make your impression. But yet it gives you the thickness to give you a little bit of a raised effect when you thicken up your paint, either with the paint frosting or with like a salt wash or salt wash type product. So our next step is to go ahead and glue the labels right onto the box. Our next step is to go ahead and wax all of these. So we'll just put a quick coat of wax over. Since I've already waxed the labels, I'm not going to add more to those. So I'm just going to go around the outside here. So last but not least, we're going to wax this up, and we will add a little bit of dark wax also. So I'm just going where the butterfly is. And then I'm going to wipe that back. If you want, you can go over the entire thing with the dark wax just to kind of give it more of a vintage look. On the sides, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give it a quick wax. So again, I'm going to use a little bit of dark wax on this. But I am absolutely loving the way the stencil turned out on this side. And just wipe it back a bit. And then that is done. I will do the other side, and I will clear wax the front of it. So the only next step would be to add the drawers, and we will be done. On the inside, because there are 3 drawers here, you can see through and see this bottom board. Also, I painted about 1.5 to 2 inches in, so that if the drawers kind of slide to the back, then you won't see this edge. And that's a good idea to do anytime you're painting drawers, is to paint it in a little bit. But we'll just add the drawers here. That's it for this week. If you have any questions, you can go to our website at www.boutiquepaint.com. And thank you so much for joining me. Bye.